Abraham was asked to leave his hometown by God. He was asked to do so that he can be successful with his endeavors in his life. Your hometown, or where you grew up, where you went to school, the people that know you from when you were growing up until to, let's say, an adult form, or up until before you leapfrog, are not going to support you with your dreams. These are people that have seen you down and out. These are people who have seen you and while they saw you growing up, have made up stories and assumptions about who you were. And so now when you leapfrog to go after your dreams, they feel like you've betrayed them. That's why now they will not support you. Instead, they will work against you so that they keep you where you are. Keep you with them at the level they are at, because they're already assuming that if they let you, or they support you, encourage you with your dreams, you will be better than them. Jesus came back to his hometown, and his hometown did not recognize him. Even his brothers were against him. Joseph was sold by his own family. His brothers were jealous and envious of his abilities and what he was able to do with those abilities, or was planning to do with those abilities. Because again, people don't hate you for what you're doing currently. They hate you for what you're about to do, or what you are capable of, the potential. So the potential person that you may become, potential success that may come from your abilities, from your endeavors. That's why an enemy always sees you and your potential before you yourself recognize that you have that potential within yourself. And then you ask yourself, why are these people working against me? What did I do to them? What's wrong with these people? It's because they can see the potential in you that you have not yourself seen. And because of that, they feel threatened by it. So that's why God asked Abraham to leave his hometown, so that wherever he goes, he can then be able to bless him. Again, the most dangerous enemy out there is not a stranger. It is someone that knows you, family, friends, colleagues. These close people that know you, those are the dangerous people, because they masquerade as if they are for you, they like you, while behind closed doors, they are working against you, speaking bad about you. I remember when I first began with this channel, and some of the works I've done before I opened this channel, entrepreneurial, art-wise, and other things, I remember when I opened this channel, I expected obviously support from a lot of people that were on my social media accounts at that time. This included Facebook and Instagram. And most of these people, I knew them personally. Sorry. Most of these people were people I knew from university, or people that I met while I was still completing my higher qualification. I thought to myself at that time, if I put myself out there in terms of this channel, these people that I knew, some of them, I had supported them on their own endeavors. I thought, okay, if I do what I'm doing and I explicitly ask for their help, for them to help my channel grow, like, hey, can you please share my channel on your page, or like my channel, like the videos that I do, or whatsoever. It was mute. No response. And then I didn't really pay attention to that. I was like, that's fine. And then in 2021, I released my first book. The book is available now on Amazon. The Hermit, Conquer Thyself Instead of Others. So when I released the book, again, I selected individuals who were on these social media accounts that I also knew personally, that, okay, these individuals, I've interacted with them in the past, and I sort of hold them in high regard in terms of common sense, and also in terms of them being comfortable with whom they are, and therefore they won't feel threatened by what I'm trying to do in my life, on my own lane. So I thought, okay, I'll ask these people to help me, support me in however way they can, not expecting them to buy the book, but just to show support, like sharing it on their page once I've made the announcement, obviously, commenting, liking, whatever, to sort of like help the algorithm of that post to gain traction and be seen by other people that would not otherwise knew about me, or they were not on my page as friends or people that follow me or I follow them. So I thought, if I speak to these people, they would help me. So I went out of my way and spoke to these people on direct messages, on messengers, inboxes, all those things, personally. And the response from these people was weird. Okay, a few of them did support me, and I was grateful with whatever they could support me with, whether they were sharing the book, whether they commented, or whether they bought the book. I was grateful. And then most of them, which I didn't expect them to be like that, they just went mute. Mute. They ignored my messages to them. And I'm saying, until today, those people are not saying anything. They're not talking to me. They're not doing anything. And I thought to myself, okay, so if these individuals are like this, it's alarming. It's a red flag. I thought, okay, because I had expectations, so it is fine that I'm disappointed. Sort of like my expectations were probably out of reach. or unrealistic. And so I thought, okay, it's fine. Let me just continue doing what I'm doing. And then I continued doing what I'm doing. But as I was doing what I'm doing, I noticed that it's like these people, because I knew them from varsity, and most of them were part of cliques, groups, and I knew the mindsets of those groups, and sort of like what necessitated also those group formations to exist, the mindset behind them, you know. And I thought to myself, okay, so it just felt like, because now I could see what their intentions were with what I was doing. You know, obviously not with the physical side, but with the gifts that God has given me, the spiritual side. I could see that, okay, these individuals, they're sort of hoping that because they went mute and they're not outwardly supporting me, they're hoping that that would impact me in a way that I would stop doing what I'm doing. Because most of these individuals didn't have a problem with what I was doing. They just had a problem that it was me who was doing this. So I thought, okay, this is still weird. You know, it's unpleasant. I thought, okay, I'm just going to persist with what I'm doing. And at the time when I released my first book, I had an individual who at the time was, can say, overzealous at trying to besmirch my name, my reputation, and to some extent they were able to convince a few, if not a lot of people, about whatever nonsense they were spewing out there about me. And these people believed them, and they went with whatever they were saying. And so that's why now on social media, whenever I do something, post something, there was this blockage or this animosity, this stumbling block from people that knew me, because now they're looking at me with the eyes of that knowledge they were fed by someone else, almost as if they cannot think for themselves. But no, they could think for themselves, that they also had their own agendas. So that information, when it came, it sort of like cemented whatever stupid assumptions they already had. They're like, oh wow, so this individual is like this, so it means then I was right with my assumptions. And so I decided not to pay attention to those things. Obviously, that taught me a lot about these individuals, and I acted swiftly, because most of them, as I can see them, decided to block them from my social media accounts, mainly Facebook and Instagram. And then on YouTube, I could not, because they were subscribed privately, so they can keep watching whatever I'm doing and then copy it to do it in their own lives, and then lie about it and say it is them who was creating this information or whatsoever, because obviously they've already convinced people not to watch my channel, but they watch it and copy my whatever that I'm doing, and then they give it to pretend as if it's them who came up with such knowledge or whatever that I'll be sharing. This is sad to say the least. And so this individual particularly, who was overzealous and who worked very hard, who used resources and whatsoever to try and get rid of me. They even tried to come after me, after my life. I won't mention their name because they know themselves. They watch me every time, they stalk me and stuff, so they know themselves. So it's very it's disturbing, to say the least. And I can't really say I was disappointed by these groups of people that followed whatever stupid notions they already built up in their minds about me. I was actually dumbfounded. I didn't really know how to react to this situation that was happening at the time. I just thought, what's wrong with these people? I asked myself these questions like, what's wrong with these people? Because I'm not actively doing anything wrong to anyone. I don't even have any envy about anyone, no hate, no nothing. Nothing. Instead, I'm always willing to help anyone who needs help with what I'm doing, because I understand why I'm here on this earth and what to do with that. And then to take you back with these mentalities of these groups, obviously these groups and cliques, when we're in the university, most of them, they formed these groups and cliques based on their need for competition, their need to feel better than whomever, whatever scenario. So obviously they would compete with almost anything: academics, money, schools they were from, so social life, and what that social life was able to yield in terms of, I don't know, partners that they would date, the perception that they would get from people, and also the command of Queen's language, the English language, which was very disturbing. All of these things, because most of these people I thought were intelligent. Well, they are intelligent, but I thought, like there was some wisdom, there was something really about them, but I was wrong, I was really wrong about a lot of these people. That's why my expectations were not met when I first released my first book. So I continued doing whatever I'm doing, however I'm doing it, and at some level, spiritually speaking, I was playing the game because I understand what these people are doing. I can see what they're doing. I know what they're doing, and I know who they are, like all of them. And they're obviously doing these things covertly because they don't want to be found out. They don't want to be blasted out. They don't want anyone to know whom they are, what they do, because one of this individual I'm speaking about, the one who went out of his way, he wears a mask. So it's like a covert narcissist. And so I unmasked them, confronted them, and told them who they were. And that made them go out of their way to protect that mask. That's why then they had the need to go to other people to try and besmirch my reputation, my name, and all that stuff, lie about it to these people, because they were trying to protect their mask that they didn't want anyone else to find out, because they've grown as individuals, and have also achieved, quote unquote, whatever in their lives through deception, manipulation. And therefore, I was a threat to that establishment. So today I'm sharing this story about Abraham, Joseph, and even Jesus, and how within their hometowns, because again, their hometowns represent the comfortability, the people that they know, the people that know them, and they thought within those hometowns they would get support. Situations like this, for example, they make it very difficult for one to not consider the fact that evil exists, even if you are a theologian, a religious individual, a spiritualist, or an academic, a scholar. It doesn't matter which mentality and perception you're coming from in understanding situation that would happen to you because of other people's deceptive ways, treacherous ways, which obviously most of the time don't even have a justification. By that I mean all of these things are unprovoked. Like outwardly, like you didn't go out and say, hey, 1, 2, 3 to these people and insult them and whatsoever, and then therefore they have the justified reasons for them to do bad things to you, to go around gossiping and whatsoever about you. There's no justification about that. But they do it anyway because of they fear what's within you, the energy you are emanating, the who you are, not what you are, the who you are, because they see it. And so it is now important to not be discouraged by individuals like that. As I'm saying, you have to move away from that comfortable zone, that environment, your hometown. You have to move away. Cut those friends out. Cut those family members out. I'll even make it worse with my situation. When I was having these troubles, for example, I ran back home with, again, the assumption that at home, this is where I'll find refuge. This is where I'll find comfort. This is where I'll be able to explain myself and not feel judged, like being judged by strangers, people that don't know, that don't even know who I am at the core. They don't know who I am. They don't know who I'm with as I'm speaking right now. So I went home expecting to be welcomed and understood and all those things. And to my surprise, it was worse than outside. Because now I never thought this would happen to me. Like I'd have my own parents working against me, my own sibling. And then my parents would even go far to convince other family members, my aunts and aunts and all of that stuff, to work against me. That's when I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. Like, I understand, okay. Saying this to myself, obviously, like, okay, I'm no longer gonna give these people, or anyone for that matter, benefit of a doubt or whatsoever, because you have proximity to my life as a family member or whatsoever. Not anymore. I'm not just going to treat you all the same like I treat a stranger from the outside there. And so I cut all these people out of my life. All of them. Everything. Out. Out. Because I'm not dealing with low vibrational energies, and I'm being I'm using the term low vibrational energies as a euphemism, because I don't want to call people evil or whatsoever, because this world also we're living in is not just black and white. There's so much going on with the intricacies of why or an individual would end up being evil. And then they go out of their way to project all of that nonsense and say it is someone else who's doing that, while they are the ones that are doing that. There's psychology, obviously, pathology for all those individuals, or for that behavior, that kind of thinking. There's a pathology for those people, like why they do that, why they are like that. I would understand someone who, let's say, is my age, I went to school with, and I went to university with, or whatsoever. We met at the university, and then they are competing with me, or we met at the workplace environment, we have the same degrees or whatsoever nonsense, and they're competing. That I would understand. But I would not understand, and I still don't understand. There's obviously explanations, psychologically speaking, as I'm saying, there is a pathology for all of that. Narcissism, whatsoever. There is a pathology for that, for such behaviors. But personally, I will not understand if now you are a parent and you're competing with your kid, with your child, or with your children. Then it is beyond the mundane explanation we would have, psychologically speaking, of that pathology. To say, okay, this individual is like this because of 1, 2, 3. It just goes beyond that threshold. Now we can now involve things in the theological sense of things and say that individual is evil, because they cannot say or stand in front of me now and justify themselves. Nothing. It is nothing. Because beyond them not having any provocation to act in that way, there is nothing they can stand on. And funny enough, once you cut these people off, they go on to become victims. They go on to play the victim card, that you are the problem. They didn't do anything wrong. You are the problem. And at some point, whatever that they were doing to lie to whomever was able or was willing to listen to them about you, gets shown to these people that they're lying to, that, okay, no. What you're saying does not make sense. If, for example, you say that individual is wrong, individual A is wrong, why are you so obsessed with them? Because they are no longer within your life. They have left you. They're doing whatever they're doing within themselves, within their own life. So why is the need for you to still be obsessed with them? They are not here. They haven't been here for years or whatsoever, but you're still obsessed with them. What's the problem? Why are you so obsessed with me? Boy, I want to know. Or girl, for that matter. Why? Why the obsession? Why the need to continue doing these bad things when there's no longer that safety net, which is still obviously lies? Because when you are within these people, then they can use you as that safety net because you are around them. They can lie about it, lie about what you say, all those things, because you are around. But once you remove yourself, you remove your energy, you cut the cord, then they have no leg to stand on. That doesn't mean they stop doing what they're doing, because again, they can't admit defeat, because admitting defeat, it means they have to change their mindset about you. All these lies they've convinced themselves of about you. So now that's what I'm saying. It goes to a next level when it's a parent hating their child, their children, or whatsoever, because of their abilities. And then they blame you as their child, that God or whatsoever that they believe in did not bless them with whatever that they blessed you as their children, and therefore you have to suffer. And suffering, or let me say difficulties in life, it's what happens. Life is It doesn't choose or has favorites. It does not have favorites. We are all going through whatever we're going through. We all face challenges, fairly everyone. But they will want to make themselves, the commander-in-chief of those struggles. They're going to inflict pain on you. For what reason? Other than that, when they grew up, they never had the opportunities that you had. Were you there? Did you set up political systems to be the way they are, economic systems in the world, or whatever country that you were born in? No, you didn't do that. But you are the ones to blame for that. There's a quote by Denzel Washington saying that some people don't hate you. You just irritate their demons. Your presence in their lives or who you are. He irritates these negative things they have within themselves, the resentment, the everything that they harbor within themselves of hate, self-hate, because it starts with self. You hate yourself first before you project it. The resentment, all of these things, and they hate you. And most of these people that do that is because they already ruled you out at some point. They said, no, he's not going to amount to anything because life is about material. And I have more material than him, her. I have a car, they don't have a car. I have a house, they don't have a house. I'm married, they are not married. I have a job, they don't have a job. I make so much money, they don't make anything. I dress in this way, they don't dress in this way. I dress, I wear branded clothing, expensive clothing. They wear whatsoever clothing, which is lower than me, so I'm better than them. So whatever they're doing, it won't amount to anything. It won't be successful because of all of those things I just mentioned now. Which is stupid. Very stupid. It means you have a low IQ. There's something wrong with your mentality, your mindset. And your mindset determines your altitude. Not your attitude, your altitude. So your mindset, which is intertwined with your attitude, determines who you are, where you go with life, who you attract in your life. These people that you're with are the average of who you are. You spend time with these people, So if you are gathered people who are obviously like you who are worried about, I have to dress like this and be like that, to be considered like this and that, and perceived in this way and that, and then I have to, show people I have money and then that. We still don't know who you are. We know the things that you are putting on yourself. We don't know the real you. And therefore, again, no one forces anyone to be on this channel, to listen to this and then go out hating. Like, I hate that individual. No one had you with your neck to watch this channel. No one forced you. No one. But people have that time. They have this energy to hate, even if we don't have empirical evidence, and concrete evidence, scientifically speaking, or whatsoever, historically or whatsoever. When theologians and believers, pastors and bishops say these are end times in terms of the revelation, like these are the end times when the devil is ruling and is no longer hiding and is out there using people, you begin to believe it and say, this really might be, happening. Because in South Africa, for example, as Vusi Tembekwayo would put it, We love theater. We get happy and excited that, yo, they shot him, they killed him. You saw in that video, yo, that excites us. You excited of someone else's death. You're not okay upstairs. You're excited of someone else being destroyed online for no reason except for hate. You are happy. Yay! What did you get? Nothing. Except to feed your own, and I'm using this word carefully now, to feed your own evilness within you. Because we're all capable of this. All capable of doing bad things, malice and all those things. We're capable of it. So you get happy and say, excited, yeah, yo, did you see? Why? Why that? Why? Why are we so happy with negativity? Why? What do we get from it? Nothing. Nothing, because at the end of the day, you're sleeping alone. You probably don't have anything that you were lying on that social media saying you have, or pretending to have this money, pretending to be rich or whatsoever. You probably don't have it in real life. You're probably in debt. You're probably under pressure. You're probably not even sleeping well. But we have to appear like we are these things that we are not. For what? Why do you have to? It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Maybe someone else has, a complete, I don't know. Because I understand the pathology that comes with such a mindset. I understand the behavior, what necessitates people to behave in that way. I understand all of that. I just don't understand it beyond that. Like, why would you wake up in the morning and decide, oh, today I'm going to hate people. Oh, today I'm going to go after people. Today I'm going to destroy who and who. Today I'm going to lie about this guy and this one. And then I'm going to try and destroy him. And then there's one. What did they do to you? You find out nothing. They didn't do nothing to you. So now even worse, when, for example, you take my story, what I've went through, or you take Joseph's story, being sold by his family, sold out by his family to his enemies and whatsoever, and then he doesn't exact revenge. I don't have any need for revenge. From all these people I've mentioned, I don't care. I don't care, as long as they're not within my life cycle and whatsoever. I don't want them in my life. That's the only thing I ask. Oh well, I enforce, in fact, not even ask, I enforce boundaries. I don't care about them because I never was doing what I'm doing right now for their approval. It was never about them. And so obviously the understanding now also again that we are not here fighting flesh and blood comes in again. Today we're quoting the Bible. Today we are at church. This is church. We are in there. We are not fighting flesh and blood. We are actually fighting principalities. These negative energies that harbor people, that possess people, demons, whatsoever. Even if we don't have physical evidence of these things, but the way we are acting, the way we behave, you would conclude and say, yeah, they exist. We do have demons because they are people. They manifest themselves as people. They manifested themselves as people that you never thought they would do what they're doing. This topic, I've been avoiding to talk about it because I don't really like. For me, I group every negative behavior, envy, hate, gang stalking, gossip, sabotage, betrayal, all of those nonsense. I group them under stupidity. I regard them as stupid, and the people that do them as stupid, as mentally ill. Because I think if they were not mentally ill, they were fine within themselves, maybe they wouldn't do what they're doing. Now we're going back to the understanding of that pathology that emanates itself in that behavior.